Okay, good morning. Firstly, I'd like to thank Stephen and Nick, congratulate Nick on his global appointment. And Stephen's done a fantastic job for us in really restructuring our research offering and bringing it to a level that's really much more strategic and relevant for this market. I'd also like to thank everybody who provided support to bring today's function on. If you'll indulge me for a couple of minutes, I just want to talk about CBRE, surprisingly enough, and what we've been doing and some of our plans for the future. Now, I think for everybody, we live in an increasingly competitive world. And I think in that world, we've got a situation where the commoditization of certain services has gained momentum. And if your businesses are built around such services, it's going to be very difficult to be particularly relevant. And I think for all of you, I don't think it matters whether you're fund managers, developers, whether you're private investors, or whether you're tenants. The reality is that you've got to provide a relevance. And that relevance has really got to be made up of solutions, and it's got to provide a value add. And I don't think we've ever been in an environment where that has been so focused. Now, the situation around our business, like most of our peers, originally our businesses were built really on 3 or 4 pillars. And those pillars were transactions, which included sales and leasing, and then we had a valuation business and a property management business. And it was reasonably straightforward. And all of those elements are still incredibly important to us. But I think we've moved on deliberately because we wanted to be in a position where we could add that value and become more relevant to you. So over 5 years, we've developed what I would describe as a portfolio of services that we couldn't possibly have imagined that we would be delivering in the past. So just to give you an idea, we've got an agri-business that's got about 25 people in it. Not only do they deal with relatively small farm holdings and sales, but they do business on a very large scale, and we've done work for international clients who've acquired $500 million of timber plantations. We do town planning, which stitches in with a lot of our service lines across all sectors. We're involved in the capital advisory business, and that business is dealing with debt and equity, but it's also now dealing in the secondaries market in unlisted funds, which is a very interesting part of a new solution for illiquid funds. We've got a situation where we've got structured transactions who deal very much with large land holdings and complex situations to put together joint ventures. We do depreciation and capital advisory. We do tax and rating. We do sustainability. We've got a situation now where we can offer to clients a very, very composite range of services that goes well beyond what real estate services used to comprise. Add that to the global picture, and the global picture is really on a much larger scale about bringing in new capital, bringing in new debt sources, providing much better system approaches for us, investing in technology, and bringing in new occupiers. So you put those two together, it's a very powerful mix. Now, I might just give you one example, which I would call a nirvana for us, and I hope it was a nirvana for our clients, and I can see one of the clients who's sitting at this table right next to me, so I hope I get this right. But I've never seen a situation like this. It was a development in Parramatta called Eclipse that was developed by Leighton Properties in a JV with Grosvenor Funds Management. Approximately 25,000 square metres of prime space, the best space in Parramatta. And our GCS business, the tenant rep and GCS business, happened to be acting for both QBE and Deloitte, and they took 17,000 square metres of the space. We were also acting for the landlord at the time, so we married the two together. We were then appointed as property managers for the space by the joint owners, and at the same time then our retail services team came in and leased up the ground floor. We were then in a situation where the capital markets team and the international team brought in a purchaser for 100% of the interest, and Rest acquired the building. And then they subsequently reappointed us to property manage the building, and at the same time we were doing the project management for one of the tenants. Now that to me is a demonstration of the power and depth of what we can do in this market. If we did that regularly, I wouldn't be standing here. I'd be on a beach in the Bahamas probably. So it clearly is something that doesn't happen all the time, but it is something that I think, demonstrates where we want to go and what we want to do. So just to wrap it up, our business has changed enormously. I said to a journalist the other day, if you keep referring to us as a real estate agency, I'm going to have to kill you. So with no further ado, I know you've got a very busy day. Thank you very much for coming, and all the best for the second half of this year. Thank you.